This is a detailed breakdown on how to interpret assessment results. You should be able to use this video to understand your athlete's data more and understand the direction that we are headed in with their improvements. For our first metric on this list, it's standing reach. This is simply how tall your athlete is with their arm extended above their head. Our second metric is standing vertical. This is standing and jumping as high as your athlete can. This is our strength and power metric. There isn't a deep technique involved with improving standing vertical, which means it's very much so reliant on your athlete's overall strength and power. What that means is, as we develop more strength, this number goes up. It does mean that this number doesn't make as big of jumps as some of our other numbers on this list because we know it takes time to develop strength and power, whereas technique can be taught in just a few sessions. Our next metric is approach vertical, running and jumping as high as you can. Now, regardless of if your sport requires a lot of running and jumping or if it's more sprinting and change of direction, approach vertical does serve a purpose for all athletes. The thing I like to do first is compare the difference from standing vertical to approach vertical. We recommend a 4 to 6 inch difference in these numbers to show coordination in our approach. If we see a 1/2 inch to an inch improvement or difference from standing to approach vertical, we consider that an issue of coordination. If we can get more coordinated in our approach vertical, it means we're way more efficient with taking our forward momentum and carrying that upward. Next is max touch. This is simply the maximum point your athlete can reach to. It's adding your standing reach to your approach vertical, saying that if something is 105 inches off the ground, your athlete can touch it. Obviously, the higher the better. This number isn't as reliable for tracking approach improvements because it takes into consideration height. If this number goes up 3 inches, but we've grown 2, then our approach vert has only gone up 1 inch. Approach vertical is a way more standardized and consistent metric to track, whereas max touch is great for seeing if we have a higher maximum touch point, which can be good for recruiting, or if we want to do something like dunk a basketball or something like that. Next is broad jump. This is linear force projection. So rather than jumping straight up in a standing vertical, we're jumping out as far as we possibly can. A little bit different than a standing vertical because there's more technique involved in this movement as far as takeoff angle, extension of our legs, and so on. Obviously, the higher the number, the better. This has a direct correlation to speed and explosive movements in your sport. 20-yard dash. Pretty straightforward. This is our acceleration speed. We know that our acceleration zone is from 0 to 15 to 30 yards. Somewhere between 15 and 30 is when we reach our top speed. If your athlete is slower, it will be closer to the 15 side. If your athlete is faster, it will be closer to the 30 side. Age has a big discrepancy on that as well. Regardless, we're right in the middle of acceleration zone, so we are tracking acceleration. That is the purpose of this metric. Next, 5-10-5. This is tracking change of direction. The more efficient we are in change of direction, the faster this time is. We're running 5 yards, changing direction, running 10 yards, changing direction, accelerating through. What is our foot placement and technique as we change direction, and how quickly can we accelerate out of that? Those are the 2 major factors to this drill. Lastly is our reactive strength index, or RSI. This is where we were standing on the 16-inch box, dropping down to the ground and bouncing as quick off the ground and as high as we could possibly go. There's 2 things we're tracking here. Reactive, which is our ground contact time, and strength, which is the height we get after bouncing quickly off the ground. This equation takes jump height divided by ground contact time and gives you your number. Obviously, the higher this number, the better. From 0 to 1.5 is considered our below average range. From 1.5 to 2.25 is considered our average range. 2.25 to 3.5 is our above average range, and 3.5 and above is our elite level range. Obviously, we want to be in that elite level range. We want to see big jumps and improvements. Plyometrics and exercises like that are the best thing to do in order to improve our reactive strength index. But what we do know is there's about an 80% correlation from RSI to sprint speed, meaning if we have a higher RSI, we will be faster. And on top of that, the reactive side really helps with agility. How quickly are we moving? How much are we reacting to outside stimulus in game is agility. And if we can have a high RSI, we will be way more likely to be agile on the field or the court, and we'll be able to see that play in action. That is the full breakdown of the Next Level Athletics assessment. If you have deeper questions on any of these metrics, please ask one of our staff members. We would be happy to go in depth over these with you. Track your athlete's progress as you go. Make sure we're seeing improvements. We always like to track every 3 months. The reason for this is we want to see areas that we're improving in and areas that we might not be seeing as much improvement as we want. And that tells us we need to put more focus into that area. If we're tracking, we know where to go. If we're not tracking, we're guessing. And at Next Level Athletics, we don't want to guess.